back for Charlie. Forward and draw the sword. Forward, up and running.
Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War 2 with this Scottish campaign. So, all moves have been made, and where I should perhaps start, it's the winter of 1756. We're not exactly progressing very quickly here in between videos. Last time around we made all the moves, and that we could, or as far as I know, it's a world-spanning war at this point. Perhaps there's some unit that I could have moved at some point. At this point we're awaiting counterattacks in Boston and Philadelphia. Also, before we go ahead and turn and see where the French strike, I'm sure they'll strike at least one of these places. Well, let's head back to Europe. So I did now. I guess something happened in between me saving and loading the save, because now there's actually 2- unhappiness in the Netherlands. So we might see the Netherlands coming up as their own nation. Worst case scenario is they do, and the Spanish declare war on them immediately. But the idea is anyways to at least somewhat back them up. Preferably, if we could get a wedge in between the Spanish and the French, that would be great. Because a lot of the troops to get up to the Spanish Netherlands and to Belgium here, they walk through France. So if military access was denied through there and they were forced back to Spain, would actually be optimal. Or perhaps if they were the split happened, but they actually had to stay in Spanish Belgium, because then I would have more of a free reign against Spain in the mainland here. Also, I did note that at this point Morocco and Spain is no longer at war, which means that all these troops are actually free to move. So perhaps it was just as well that I didn't land the army here, because it could have easily been destroyed under the pressure of all these troops. With that said though, we're going to go ahead and end turn and expect these massive counterattacks. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and end turn. I was expecting counterattacks, but nothing came of it. They just raided a lot of areas. I did get a lot of opportunities to intercept, but I figured if I was in a situation where I didn't specifically choose to attack, I wouldn't really take the opportunity to attack if it arised as well, because I'm waiting for reinforcements. Because we are outnumbered here in North America, even though I've taken the major centers of recruitment. Enemy trapper burnt up here. Luckily though that there's no French troops sighted here anymore, and I am actually at war with a Huron, but no army of theirs have been sighted either. Workers on riot in Maine. We have another raid up here. Rebellion in Tataria. Shit amount of troops. I'm not interested in that though. I need to quell the French before they become even stronger up here. Also, now this army has grown quite a bit. And can I take all of them out there? Yes, I can. Now, this force could potentially move there. But I'm looking to strike at the enemy rather than sit and cower like I have to do in North America. So we've got even more Americans being recruited here, and even more Americans recruited here. So I would definitely like to go out and attack here. Maine is mostly safe. Now we have almost a majority of this army is American. Would like to clear this port. One thing that I do need though is I think I need a lot of my own, or more cannons of my own is something that I definitely need. We just got the reinforcements here in Philadelphia, and the troops are at full strength. We got Queen's York's Rangers, have 110 in range and 50 accuracy. And we now have the 32 pounder howitzers, 2 of them. So really powerful guns. This army thought it could march past us. That is definitely a good target. I would definitely like to take Annapolis. Annapolis. That's how we probably pronounce it. Kill all of these, attack here, and then move there. Is that an army? Yes. Okay, so that would all be one. Well, I guess I could attack this one. Get rid of that. Workshop in Tunis. Karas shot. The enemy has been using that quite successfully against us. And then they took that. Forced my navy out, which is a little bit dangerous because there was a dangerous French navy about. The thing is though, I've been noticing that a lot of French navies are heading home because a lot of them pass up here and into this. So I think a lot of them seem to be heading home. Right, so we've gone through all of this mess. Now it's actually about organizing the troops a little bit for our attacks. So looks like they are going to lose the control over this. The thing is, which I'm a little bit worried about, is when they have the riot and they destroy a building, that they destroy the classical university, and then everyone's like, oh, university is destroyed, now everything's fine. I moved my troops here, so that's done. But the Italian campaign. So my spy has arrived. And what I want to check is, I've checked the troops here. So we got 2 French stacks and a small Spanish one. But my idea here is that we will launch against Rome. And then against Naples. I want to launch the Arabian army. Okay, so the area is a little bit unhappy, but I can recruit Spanish provincial militia that will take care or hold the island for me. Right, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at what they've got here. They have a very small amount of troops. Now, if I land the troops, I won't be able to attack immediately. If I actually move them here, will the army have enough movement range? No. I'll have to unload it in 2 batches. Right, so they're coming up this way. I will take Naples and Sicily and all of this, which is great. You can actually stay here for now. And then, you know what? Rather than fighting, a nonsensical battle in North America, why don't I take Ross Adelton and fight the French over Rome instead? And now we have ourselves a real major battle. We have 7,000 men readied against 6,000 defenders. The enemy has got a ton of artillery. So it's going to be important to move fast to get at them, because they outnumber me with guns. And there's nothing more to say, so let's go ahead and fight, shall we? Well, here we go! Here's the battlefield. So, it's taken about 30 minutes to get in position to actually attack this position. The enemy had dug in all their artillery. Very powerful amount of artillery. The terrain did not suit an attack on this at all. Attacking head-on to this would have been absolute suicide, so I didn't. It took 30 minutes, though, for me to get into position. All the infantry has marched along the road and is now progressing up here. 7 brigades of infantry marching up the flank of the enemy. And then I decided to pull my artillery all the way around here, up onto the hill, and then up here. They've got the Highland Brigade right behind them, and they're now poised to fire shot down the valley, down at the enemy cavalry, which I'm going to focus my fire on. And meanwhile, my cavalry got unstuck against the Cardinal Richelieu's Musketeer Guard. The French have sent some really old units to guard their conquest of Italy. I'm gonna form these Scottish squares, and hopefully we'll send away Richelieu and his Cardinal's troops. Oh, my 2 units here. Cardinal Richelieu's cavalry is very strong, to say the least, and they cut my heavy cavalry to pieces. Now though, against the infantry square, they're not as cocky. I mean, targeting from up here against the enemy is excellent. And the French army is totally in disarray. Right, Richelieu and his stupid cavalry went away. But now I wonder which units are these for. Right, and they should be at fire at will. Right, so the attack is commencing. Oh, Cardinal is back. The Cardinal is back and is storming right in for revenge on this square. Managed to score quite a decent hit, but in the process he lost half of the troopers he had left. And with the amount of troops coming up through here, he didn't stand a chance, really. Soon enough, my army here will be ready to strike at the enemy. I should actually run the troops. The cohesion is excellent. And I feel like I've been waiting long enough to get this battle going. More and more troops are gathering, like right here. So there is where I'll aim the guns. And also, as we take out more and more batteries, that will allow me to swing in more troops here. To start off, I think we're probably better off swinging in... oh, who's this now? Roman Dragoons. I fought early with them here. They tried to attack the cannons up the hill. They did quite the number on my Highlanders, Highland cavalry. Took out quite a few of them. You know what? Looking at how they're arranging the troops and running back and forwards, I think the best shots will be bouncing straight through there. Right, the Roman Dragoons are attacking. They're very low in numbers though. Not enough even to break up the formation, so my troopers or my infantry is still able to open fire upon them. We will start to trade fire with the enemy infantry shortly. I need to get rid of this battery and this battery before I can advance the troops here up above this hill, so I can start firing into this. You can see a lot of French troops already retreating over here, cannons and cavalry and whatnot moving through there. Here comes the next barrage. Unfortunately, there isn't as much of a concentration here now, but as you can see, we're still cutting through. Swiss Musketeer Guards. They've got a lot of old-style musketeers in their army. Oh, it looks like the French are actually responding here before Do I dare push them up here? I think I have to gain. I think I have to gain such a position. I will move like this. I will meet the enemy very close to their position. Right, now they've started to fire back at me. They're so close that it's at this point quite dangerous for me to fire back. I'll hold fire for now. Actually, fire into there if you can. I think this lump here on the hill is covering a lot of it. Right, the guns sent away. We've got more modern Swiss Guard, which are about to receive probably one of the closest volleys I'd ever sent into an enemy. And the entire battlefield kind of erupts into pandemonium here as the fight starts. Tons of French troops are already breaking and are being sent away. I'm going to order the Grenadier Brigade to charge the enemy. The artillery will hold fire, and the Highland Cavalry will come down somewhere across here and ready to push a charge into the French lines. Really close fighting here against the musketeers. They might be skilled by the sword, but they're outmatched by the number of muskets I'm able to lay down upon them. We have one unit of... I was about to say militia because they have the same color of uniform. But it is a regiment of Navarre, which is holding back the entire Grenadier Brigade. Meanwhile, tons and tons of French troops are stuck in everywhere. I'll go ahead and start portioning out the cavalry to strike across the battlefield here. The reserve brigades need to be moved up more closely as the fight continues here. The Navarre regiment, I don't know what those guys are made of, but they have lost so many men and they keep holding on here. The brigade just behind them should move up. Right, the Grenadiers will move back and regroup as we move forward. My cavalry has locked a lot of enemies in place. This one, though, is in a really bad spot and needs to be moved out. And as I move it out, I will be ordering my cannons to target this position, as there's so many French troops there. Enemy general just died. Late guard musketeers. 106. Oh, I need to push something in against this. Reserve brigade will move up at an angle like that and take over. They've moved into square. Or can I hit this area right there? That would be probably the best situation here. I don't want to advance too close to the guns over here. I could bring up my heavy cavalry to deal with this. Oh, here comes the artillery. How many of those shots are bouncing on into my own troops? I think the angle, though, of the shot means that a lot of the cannon fire there goes just straight into the ground. Right, so many of the enemy are now focusing down on this brigade. Cavalry units here are very tired. The thing is, let's see if we can't get these guys out of there. They've been stuck in there for too long. Well, I've cornered the French army now around this area right here. They've still got some howitzers, some cannons that are still able to lay fire upon us. I'll move this brigade up to deal with that. The grenadiers will kind of cut through, and then the grenadiers will charge towards the enemy's cannons over there. Right, I would say that I definitely have the French where I want them, and we're able to lay in fire from two sides here. I think there might be time for, yeah, most of my artillery shots are now going into that hill. There's no point in continuing that, plus there's so few French troops now that mostly what I'm doing is it's been more likely to shoot my own troops than that of the enemy. And the enemy doesn't really know how to position itself because of the fact that they're being fired from so many different sides. Like, the grenadiers have gone through. They should now attack this position right over here. I'll have this brigade walking in after them. And now it looks like all of these troops are giving way. The Swiss Guard remains to guard the enemy as they retreat. Cohesion is chaos, no surprise. As everyone else retreats though, all my troops will be concentrating in on this one Swiss unit. And there, the order was finally given for them to retreat, but is it too late? Tiresome to retreat up the hill. How many of the Swiss Guard will survive? They're down to 58 men. There we have it. Even though it took like, it feels like I played this battle for like 45 minutes. The actual fighting probably took less than 10 once I was actually able to level my guns against the enemy. Roman Palace Guards is the one that makes a slight stand here at the end. My cannon shot might have ripped through my own line. Oh, luckily it didn't. Oh. But there we go, his victory. And that means that Rome falls under my command. Here's the result of that battle. We deployed 7,000 men against 6,000 defenders. That artillery would have been a daunting task to attack had the enemy not dug them into the hill without covering its flanks. So I took 30 minutes to walk into their flanks and then utterly destroy them. I ended up losing 1,100 men while the enemy lost their entire force. Now, what I killed though was 5,895 men, which means that 105 men-ish got out alive, which I don't really think. Probably during the actual battle we killed something like 5,000 of them, because not a lot of them were able to get away, but I think it was definitely more than like 100 men. We killed a lot of our own, according to this, about 200 of our own. So quite high rate of friendly fire, but that it is when we're firing that close to each other in thick formations, firing cannon, close support and so on. One of the guns ended up being the heist killer, followed by Scottish Line Infantry, followed by even more Scottish Line Infantry and a cannon and so on. Nothing really special to be said about this though. Quite few losses though for the frontline units that actually did most of the fighting. And with that, Rome falls to my control. Now, very high cultural unrest. A large part due to the fact that they've got school, university. It's gonna get rid of that. They have 3 vineyards in Rome. Don't you get happiness for that? Yeah, you get happiness for all 3 of them. That should give the entertainment bonus should be really high. Now they have a royal observatory, which does give happiness. I thought it perhaps increased a little bit of the unrest. We'll be able to get good guns from here. Roman palace guards, 4 of them. And also Roman line infantry, 10 of them. And Roman dragoons. The Roman dragoons were quite good when I fought them. But it could perhaps have been just the position of where they were stationed. But that's really good. We managed to take Rome. And my Middle Eastern army will be able to take Naples. What kind of weird hat do they have? Looks like it's one of those folded like... anyways. That should be easy enough to take out. So I've taken most of Italy then. Or at least the southern part. That will allow me then to unimpeded go through here. And then finally I think anchor an army in Turin. And then we can swing troops around to aid the Prussians in the war around here. I'm hoping that this will break away so we get to trade with the Dutch so we can set up them. So it's going quite well in Europe. It's not going as well in America. Now I did get the reinforcements here. And I think we're gonna get even more of these Pennsylvania troops. So that brings us up close to a 40 stack. For next episode though, I should not wait for the enemy to counterattack. I need to counterattack. So I think for the next episode, hopefully, I'll be able to counterattack against this army, against these 2 up here, and against this one. Taking out those 3 will reduce the enemy's presence in this area quite a lot. The new howitzers have come in, and they will be sent to Montreal to protect that. I'll see, perhaps I'll be able to send some new French units. This army should cross over into this territory and should be actually heading for New York, I think. The Grenadier should join the army, so now it's full, plus it's American recruits, which is good, and we should make sure that we get all the new French units. We should upgrade those, what's it called, cannons for a lot of armies here as well. Right. So it seems like it's gonna turn here pretty soon. I need to start doing some work against landing against the Spanish here. I think though what I need to do is land against Cuba and Hispaniola first before I try to take on Florida. I'm hoping they've got less troops in on the islands rather than on the mainland, so we start advancing there. But right now it looks pretty good. The thing that I'm a little bit worried about is France and Spain's got big navies, and so far we haven't really seen any of them come around. Oh yes, this army, I completely forgot. I need to move this one into action. I could actually move this one because I could move that and close off the route for the French. I will send... Oh yeah, in the end turn we were forced out of the Spanish port here. I will be leaving 2 ships in port here to make sure that I can continuously attack their main port and force them to lose all that trade. What I'm going to do is, I don't think we'll land the troops today. What I will do is I'll keep an eye on this region, and when the enemy moves away, I'll slip into a port and go for one of these towns and control it before they move troops in to fix that or plug the gap. So I won't be going in and then fighting an army and then taking the spot. I will take the spot, and then if they want to counterattack, we'll fight them. And then we'll sort of overwhelm in this region. But I think that's it for this episode. The World War is... It's going a little... You know, we need to take very delicate steps and make sure that we get into the right position. But it certainly is going the right way now. It's a big help here in North America that I'm able to recruit American troops, 7 regiments per turn, every turn, and there's no limit on these American troops. There's an unlimited pool of Americans that want to join in, which is kind of crazy because each regiment contains 250 men, so that means that I am recruiting, what, 1,500 men every turn, and the population of the area here in Boston is only 150,000 roughly, and it's only 43,000 in Philadelphia. I'm literally recruiting every single able-bodied American to join in the fight against the French here. With that said though, I think it's high time to end this episode. There's still a lot of French troops, there's still a lot of Spanish troops, and there's still a lot of battles to come. But we're definitely moving in the right way. And so with that said, I will say, like I always say, hopefully guys, you enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.